Welcome back. We are at Doak Campbell Stadium for a rivalry matchup between Florida State and Miami. Don't let that number 3 ranking in the country fool you. When we have a rivalry game like this, anything can and will happen. Despite being the number 3 team in the country, Florida State is not even number 1 in its own division. Right now that honor goes to UCF, who is sporting a 4-1 conference record. So Florida State needs to keep pace with UCF if they want to keep their hopes of a conference or national title alive. And for Miami, this is just for the rivalry's sake. Not a lot to be gained from their conference side of things. Then, when you look at their roster, though, they're still pretty talented. They have a guy like Tyler Van Dyke at quarterback, who has proven to be a solid college guy, who just may not be the top 10 NFL pick that he was projected to be after his first time starting. Then you have a guy at running back at Henry Parrish, who's number 4 in the SEC in rushing, and a few spots ahead of our own running back, Trey Benson, by a few yards there. And you can see that the Ole Miss running back, Quinshon Judkins, currently is running away with that title. And then the top players for Miami are on the defensive side. You have defensive tackle Leonard Taylor, who seems to still be wreaking havoc from his position at defensive tackle. Then the best player on their team is safety Cameron Kitchens, so we're going to have to make sure that when we're throwing the ball deep that he is nowhere to be found. And then on the injury front, it's pretty basic today, just a couple of guys a little banged up. We'll see if Miami's left tackle ends up playing, but now it is time for the Hurricanes and Seminoles to renew the rivalry. It is time for kickoff at Doak Campbell Stadium, and we are underway. And this is going to be kicked deep, and Miami is not going to return it. It'll be a touchback, and the Miami offense will come onto the field, led by their running back, Henry Parrish, who we mentioned earlier, who did not have a lot of opportunities in the last game, under 3 yards of carry, and they should be trying to get him going early. First down for Miami, in the pistol, already putting guys in motion, trying to run the ball up the middle, and he gets stopped early on, and that's a 2-yard gain for Miami, and that'll be 2nd and 8 now. Florida State's defense looking to step up. They've had a couple of really rough starts to games lately. Henry Parrish looking for a lane and gets stopped. Gets some good yardage. It's about 4 or 5, and that sets up a manageable 3rd and 3, putting Miami in a spot where they can either run or pass, still staying pretty compact. Up the middle goes Cheney. He is hit by Verse initially, and then a gang tackle brings him down, and he is 1 yard short. And now it's 4th down, and the ball will go to Florida State. They will get to start the ball with pretty good field position about the 40 after the punt. And now their offense is ready to get moving. This is a handoff to Benson, and Benson already going to find 11 yards initially. And if those lanes are going to be open from the get-go, then Miami is going to be in some trouble. This handoff to Hill does not find the room up the middle, cuts it to the outside, is able to find 6 of his own, and that's 2nd and 4 now for Florida State. And the offense is officially moving. Travis makes a couple of adjustments at the line, tight formation, looking for a man, throwing deep. Johnny Wilson has his man beat, but is not going to find him. That was Cameron Kitchens in coverage, and he was able to keep Johnny Wilson from getting to that ball, so good recovery there. Travis rolls out, throws. It is not a good throw, but Jaheim Bell comes back to it, is able to get over the line to gain, and gives Florida State a 1st down and 10, 6:27 to go. Run up the middle to Benson, and it looks like the Florida State offensive line is pushing the D-line around quite a bit so far in the run game. Another run to Benson to the outside, and he is going to have a little bit of room, and he gets 1 yard to bring up a 3rd and 4, under 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. Snap to Travis, he rolls out to the left looking for a man, and he hits Keon Coleman, who just barely gets the 1st down, makes a really nice move to get there, and the Florida State offense keeps it moving. Looking, rolls out to the right, and right as he's rolling out, he gets hit by Nigel Kelly, the former Florida State commit at the time, and then flipped his commitment to Miami later on in the recruiting process, and now hits Florida State with a sack that brings up a 2nd and 20. Shotgun snap to Travis at 5 wide, and finds Johnny Wilson for a nice chunk of 13 to get them to a 3rd and 7 that's not so scary as that 2nd and 20. Another shotgun snap going to come to Travis. He's looking, trying to find somebody over the middle, and he hits Keon Coleman, who makes a nice move on the outside for 19 yards. And the Florida State receivers seem to be getting some nice separation early on in this one, too. That brings up a 1st and goal for the Florida State offense. Good adjustment and comeback for Keon Coleman, and the offense is in the red zone, 1st and goal, under 4 minutes to go now. This looks like about a pistol formation, run up the middle to Benson, and he's only able to find a yard or 2. And now they're looking at about the 3-yard line for 2nd and goal. This is a run to Toafili. He's able to cut around and is not able to find the space he needs. That's only 1 yard. Empty formation, under center for Travis. Coleman in motion, but throws it behind him. So after a drive that looked very promising, it is going to end with a very short field goal and give Florida State a 3-0 lead in this one. But Miami has the ball back, looking to see what they can do. Van Dyke looking, and he throws behind his receiver, so must be in the water at this point, as both quarterbacks having a little hard time getting started. This is Van Dyke on a read option, and he will take 19 yards of his own. He says thank you very much, and that is almost a 20-yard gain for Tyler Van Dyke, who is not known for his legs, but it gets Miami a first down, and they're not complaining. Another read option look, and that is not a bring down for Kalen DeLoach, usually a very sure tackler, cannot even bring down Tyler Van Dyke. And he gets first down yardage again, 2 first downs in a row. This time a handoff to Chaney, and they're starting to crowd around him, and he gets 5 yards though, and Miami is starting to find a little bit more of a flow after that first drive. Was not very pretty at all, but Florida State bringing guys to the line, trying to attack that line of scrimmage. Miami's offensive line doing a good job of stopping them there, but they runs to the outside, and Parrish gets 9 yards, and that's a 1st and 10 for Miami. And now they are the offense that's on the move and dangerous. Chaney getting holes opening up for him as well. That's 10 more yards, and it looks like both run games are going to have plenty of room today if these O-lines keep playing this way. Here's Parrish, and he will get another 10 yards of his own. And when you're breaking off runs at that clip, it gets very scary. Florida State bringing their safeties up, and they hit Chaney there. So Florida State brought both of their safeties down, really into the box, trying to dare them, and they were able to clean that up for a TFL. Safeties come up again, and this time they have an extra man to stop the Van Dyke read option. That was Shaheem Brown, the safety, who came down on that play and was able to put himself in a position to make a play on Van Dyke in the read option. 3rd and 18 now. Miami needs this one for a conversion to keep it going. They do not get it. It'll be a 4th and 8, and that will also end the first quarter, where not a lot of plays were had, but the defenses played pretty well, kept everything in front of them. No real explosive plays after this one. And Miami is going to start this second quarter by kicking a pretty chip shot of a field goal, but still got to kick the field goal to get the points. Let's see if Miami can put this one away from their very strong-legged kicker. He puts it through perfectly, and Miami ties this one up at 3, and Florida State will get the ball back with 8:56 to go in the second quarter, seeing what their offense can do. This one's a handoff to Toafili, and Miami is able to run him down, and he will lose 3 yards. Toafili tried to take that one horizontal, but they ran him down very nicely. About 8 minutes to go still here. Travis trying to find his man and just underthrows the curl route, and now it's a 3rd and 13. Travis running out to the right, throwing deep and way overthrows Johnny Wilson. And that will lead to a punt and a 3-and-out for Florida State, and the ball is back in Miami's hands, and now they have something cooking. Here's Henry Parrish, and he is brought down by Tatum Bethune trying to run to the outside as the safeties keep coming up for Florida State. They are continuing to adjust to this by at least having some safety pressure on every play, running up to the line and trying to stop what they can. And Florida State does a good job here, gets the defensive line in action. They're able to push around. The linebackers are able to clean that up, and it's a 3rd and 7, big conversion time for Miami. They've only thrown the ball 1 time so far in the game, so not a very comfortable place for them. And that ball is thrown out, and that is a 1-for-3 start for Miami, and that will give the ball back to Florida State now. This 1st and 10 is an outside run to Benson, and Benson has no room as the Miami linebackers and DBs are triggering very well on him, and they were able to stop him in his tracks. Going to force Florida State to have to throw the ball. They hit Trey Benson out of the backfield on a nice angle route. It won't get all of the yardage, but it will bring up a 3rd and inches and a easier conversion if they can get it. Fakes the handoff to Toafili, and Travis has a lot of room up the middle. The O-line could not get the speed blocks up the middle to open him up even more, but they'll take the first down. Travis on the run, and he just has to throw that one away. Doesn't have a lot of options. Next play to Travis. He hits Keon Coleman in an outbreaking route. And that 13-yard gain will give Florida State a first down, and they're moving again. 5.5 to go in the second quarter. Inside run to Benson, and Benson's 3 yards keeps them on schedule for 2nd and 7. Travis runs out to the left looking, and he throws across his body, a dangerous throw, and he actually gets massacred by Akeem Mesidor there. And that brings up a 3rd and 7 now for the Florida State offense, trying to stay on the field, and they run the ball with Trey Benson. Clearly not what Miami was expecting, and he gets 13 on that 3rd and 7 to get them a first down. slant route to Keon Coleman, and he gets 10 yards, and Jordan Travis is doing a good job getting him involved and staying involved early. 2nd and inches, throwing over the middle, and Miami had a chance on that one. The defender got his hands on it and really could have made a nice momentum-shifting play. Instead, Trey Benson just barrels his way up the middle for 3 yards. And the Florida State offense continues to progress down the field. And this time, Leonard Taylor able to spin off of his offensive line counterpart and get to the quarterback for a sack. Makes a really nice move. And Florida State is now in a 2nd and 17 as they approach the red zone and still really need points. This one is to Destin Hill, the true freshman who is our new punt returner with Winston right out today. Gets 9 yards and brings up a 3rd and 8. An unconventional only 3-down lineman formation. Don't know how Miami's going to respond to this one. Under 3 minutes to go. Travis dumps it out to Keon Coleman, who's a favorite target today, and he will fight his way to being 1 yard away from the conversion, but it'll be a 4th and 1. Florida State going to go for it. Deep in this territory. They don't really like the idea of a field goal. Might as well try and get it here. And Trey Benson cannot get that yard of gain. It looks like he got closer to the line, but did not get the line to gain. And Miami takes over from there. The Miami offense now comes on the field looking for points before the half, and this would go a long way towards building some momentum for them. 1st and 10, backed up a little bit, and the linebacker, Tatum Bethune, hits the gap and hits Henry Parrish down for 3 yards. It's a 2nd and 13, and the shadow of the goal line is there, and the safeties are up. Florida State clearly thinks they are going to try and run the ball, tries to run it to the outside, has to cut back to the middle, gets 3 yards and back to about the line of the original game, but Henry Parrish has not had that stellar game that you would have expected still. Safety's up again. 3rd and 9, Miami trying to run the ball, this time with Chaney to the outside, and Florida State does a good job of holding them up. And this Florida State defense has looked phenomenal so far. They have made the plays when necessary, and that's not to say anything against Miami. Their defense has made some big plays, really making things difficult on this dynamic Florida State offense as well. But now it's Florida State's offense time to shine. A minute to go. What can they do? Hits Jaheim Bell on a beautiful pass, shakes off one defender, gets hit by the other, and it is a 1st and goal after that 20-yard gain, and they are pumped after that one. This offense has been a little stagnant, but now they got a chance to go get in the end zone before the half. They're going to see if they can take advantage. Inside slant route to Johnny Wilson, that's 8 yards, and that will give the offense a really good opportunity. 2nd and goal, about the 3-yard line. Running some time here, about 15 seconds to go. Florida State wanting to maximize and make sure they don't give the ball back to Miami with any chance to do any damage. This time it's a run to Keziah Holmes, the running back who usually gets a carry or two a game, gets 2 yards and puts them at a 3rd and very short. This time a handoff to Lawrence Toafili. Toafili finds pay dirt, 1 yard and a score. That will give Florida State a 10-3 lead in a very physical game so far. Both teams trying to run the ball and both teams having a little bit of issue in the pass game. Florida State seems to be getting a little more consistency there, so you would hope to see that when we come back from the half. But so far, it has been everything you would expect from a rivalry game. Two teams really going at it, and now it's time to see how the second half plays out. 3rd quarter, just under 9 minutes to go, 10-3 Florida State. Travis gets the snap, fakes the handoff, runs out to the right. He's got plenty of room, and he's going to start this drive with an easy Travis scramble of about 12 or 11 yards. And Florida State is moving, and they want to go and assert themselves in the field position game at least very early on, make things difficult on this Miami offense that did not have a lot of success with explosive plays. This one will be a run to Trey Benson for 6 yards. This brings up a 2nd and 4 for the Florida State offense. He's going empty backfield, trying to find his man, and he hits Hakeem Williams, the true freshman, just totally beats his defender off the line, says no to that press coverage, opens up. Travis hits him early on in that route, and he is able to dash into the end zone. And the Florida State offense and Doak Campbell Stadium really appreciates that one. That ignites a fire there. And this offense looks so much better when they're able to hit plays like that. And they have the playmakers to make those plays. And that's just the frustrating thing, is when they can't get them the ball. And they clearly were able to Hakeem Williams there as the true freshman puts his mark on this rivalry matchup. Now it's time for Miami to respond. They are down 2 scores now, and this time the safety again brings down Parrish for a 5-yard loss, and Miami is just not adapting to these looks. Florida State is throwing way more guys to the line, throwing a lot of pressures at him, and they are not making Florida State play. Another read option look, and this time Van Dyke gets lucky and they open that up very nicely on the outside as Florida State was a little over-aggressive. But those 10 yards will bring up a much more manageable third down. Here come our safeties. They're flying at Van Dyke, and before he can even get rid of the ball, Akeem Dent is able to put his helmet right under his chin strap, hit him nice and cleanly there. It is a 4th and 5 that leads to a punt, and Florida State has great field position, 50-yard line now, 7 minutes to go. Nice counter run to Benson. He's finding really nice lanes. And if Florida State wants to, it seems like they can just lean on this Miami team. They are opening such good running lanes that no reason to stay away from that. Here comes Ja'Kai Douglas, the not very often used receiver, comes over on the jet sweep, gets 4 yards and staying involved there. Miami bringing their own safety down, comes into the box trying to threaten Florida State. And with that look, they throw deep to Johnny Wilson, and reliable Johnny Wilson in his 6'7", 240 frame hauls down that 36-yard touchdown. And Florida State takes a 24-3 lead in this rivalry. And with the way the Miami offense has been playing, that seems almost insurmountable. Henry Parrish with a nice physical run for 9 yards. Here come those safeties, 2nd and 1. They get to Tyler Van Dyke, and Shaheem Brown brings him down very nicely on that play. And something to keep in mind, it looks like the trainers are examining Jordan Travis, who has his helmet off right now, and I'm not sure if he's going to come back today. It does not look good with the look on his face. 3rd and 7 for Miami. Tyler Van Dyke hits that explosive play of his own. Xavier Restrepo, old reliable for him, gives him 31 yards. And there is the official word. We have just gotten it. Jordan Travis is going to be out for the rest of the game. Don't know if that's precautionary now with a 3-score lead, but Florida State is going to have to navigate the rest of this game, a quarter and a half, without their star quarterback at this point. It's now, after that play, a Kalen DeLoach tackle for loss brings up a 2nd and 11 for Miami, and the whole complexion of this game could shift very quickly if Miami can come down and get a score. Tyler Van Dyke throws an out route to Colby Young. He'll only get 4 yards, and it's a 3rd and 7 now for Florida State. 4.5 minutes to go in the third. Van Dyke looking and throws a really nice corner route to Xavier Restrepo. That's clearly a product of chemistry. You have to have that faith that your guy is going to go and get it in a spot that is not very conventional, and Van Dyke just throws an absolute dot to him. This time, Colby Young fights off a couple of defenders, gets 5 yards, and he's at least running hard when he gets the ball. Under 4 minutes to go in this third quarter. Tyler Van Dyke makes a adjustment at the line, rolls out to the left, and cannot get the ball away. That looked very awkward, and that will lead to a 3rd and 5 for Miami, and they need a conversion here. They need to keep the momentum going. Looking, hits Nathaniel Joseph very nicely, and he fights into the end zone on his first catch, and you love to see the fight out of Miami as they're able to work their way into the end zone and turn this into a 24-10 game. Now with a 2-score lead, it is Tate Rodemaker, the backup quarterback, who is going to have to maintain this lead for Florida State and hopefully not let this slip away. There's a screen pass to Benson. They were probably anticipating a lot of pressure being put on Rodemaker early, and an easy pass to Benson puts them in a 2nd and 1 early on in this drive. Then we get a nice run up the middle that's been present all day. There's those patented 10 yards for Trey Benson, and this will keep the offense moving. This is a run to the outside for Benson. He's got some room, and he is not able to squirt by the last Miami defender, but gets 10 yards of his own and another first down as Florida State enters Miami territory. This one will be a Toafili run to the outside. He's a little speedier than Benson, and he got there a little quicker and probably could have made a turn and had even more yards, but those 12 yards will keep Florida State feeling good so far about their drive. 1st and 10, Rodemaker running close to the line, and he will just take the quarterback scramble of 4 yards, as he's looking fairly decent so far as the quarterback, making some good decisions. This time he hits Morlock on a short slant, and Morlock takes that for 20. And the Florida State offense already back in the red zone inside the 10-yard line. Rodemaker throws one up to Johnny Wilson, but Wilson was not looking for the ball yet, so a little miscommunication, but that's to be expected. Nice run for Benson for 1 yard. Keeps them moving forward, but it'll be a 3rd and pretty long on this 3rd and goal. See what they can find, and Rodemaker throws this one in the dirt. Not even close to the big target, Johnny Wilson, and that will eventually lead to a field goal. 27-10 Florida State. Miami holding on here. It's a 3-score game. They're going to need to start scoring more frequently and more often. That'll be a 3-yard loss to start the drive. 2nd and 13 in the pistol look that Van Dyke has been in for most of the game. And that's a run to Parrish, and he is stopped after a loss of a yard. It'll be 3rd and 14 as there is no easy yards in the running game present for Miami at this point, and it's getting pretty bleak. He throws over the middle to Colby Young, and Colby Young does not get the first down. They're short by 5 yards, and this defense is getting a nice round of applause and congratulations as we enter the fourth quarter. Florida State up 27-10, just needing to hold on at this point with their backup quarterback, Tate Rodemaker, who hits Keon Coleman first play of the drive on one of those 3-down lineman looks in the screen game, and that gets them 11 yards and a first down. This run up the middle by Rodney Hill could have gone to the house. He had plenty of room up the middle, but gets taken down by his shoes, and that will get them a first down, though. Another hit to Coleman, nice route, puts a move on a defender, hits the end zone, 21 yards, and Florida State is up 34-10 and probably feeling very good about themselves and how they've performed today. And let's give it up to Keon Coleman, who has gotten a few more touches than usual today and has made the most of them. He's been very active in the blocking game, and then gets a ball like this, puts a move on a defender, weaves in and out, finds the end zone nicely. And now Florida State is up by 3 scores on Miami, and they are going to need a lot of things to go right if they want to get back in this game. First things first, though, they will need to go down the field, score a touchdown, get a 2-point conversion, and start from there. He'll throw to the outside to Colby Young. He is hit very early on, and that'll be a 7-yard gain, 2nd and 3, 7.5 minutes to go. Van Dyke on the drop back. He hits Harrell for a outside hitch play for 5 yards, and that's a 1st and 10 for Miami. And they're trying to do what they can, get Tyler Van Dyke back in the rhythm here, as he's looked very nice in the passing game lately, as he hits another nice play to Harrell, but he drops it. It's very weird that they were so committed to the run game, and it put them in so many bad positions when Van Dyke has looked very good throwing the ball today, I thought. He hits Harrell this time, goes right back to him. Sign of a good quarterback, not letting the pass mistakes really influence him there, just hitting the guy who's open for almost 10 yards. Then running up the middle to Chaney on 3rd and inches for 2, brings up a 1st and 10, and Miami stays alive, keeps a heartbeat and a chance at this point. Pistol formation for Miami. They're going to use it for the pass game here, and he throws a very nice corner route to Colby Young, who's gotten a little more involved in the second half and has proved to be a nice target. Here comes one of the safeties down in the box for Florida State. Their figure in their run game has to get a little more involved here. The pressure barely gets to Van Dyke, alters the throw a little bit, and now it's a 2nd and 10. Here comes the safety up in the box again. Miami throwing this time, and there's Nathaniel Joseph, who had the catch earlier for a touchdown, gets 22 more yards, as both of his catches have been quite impactful at this point. And now Miami with 6 minutes to go, 1st and 10, trying to keep things moving, trying to find a way to keep their chances alive in this game. Here's a run to Parrish. And there is some of that elite ability he has, finding a nice hole and hitting that hole hard and able to get a first down. This time, Van Dyke throws to the end zone, and Akeem Dent knocks it away. You wish you would get 2 hands on it, but that'll bring up a 2nd and goal for Miami. 5:45 to go. Here's the run to Parrish, and he's able to find some room, finds the end zone, and now Miami has cut into this lead. They will also get a 2-point conversion to make this a 34-18 game, but you have to figure Florida State is just trying to run some clock and get out of this one as quickly as possible without any more injuries and just staying pretty steady at this point. There's a rush to Benson for a yard, 2nd and 9. Another rush to Hill as time keeps ticking on the clock, and the Florida State offense is in no hurry, clearly. They are running as much time as they possibly can at this point. He's going to throw out to Keon Coleman? No, that's Johnny Wilson, actually, for 11 yards. He has a nice curl route to pick up the first down for Florida State and offers a nice target to Rodemaker. They're going to run this one to the outside, and Toafili finds 3 yards of his own. That's 2nd and 7. Clock still ticking, about 3 minutes to go. Run up the middle by Benson. He'll find those 10 yards, and now Florida State is really putting the pressure on Miami. 2:45 to go. This time it's a run to Keziah Holmes, getting him involved. He'll pick up 4 yards, and Miami calls their first timeout, trying to stop the clock from being their worst enemy. This time it's a run outside to Benson, waits for the blocks to develop. He'll get the first down, and Miami calls their second timeout. 1st and 10. Here's a run by Toafili. He's got some room to the outside. Can't quite get to the corner. He's stopped for a 3-yard gain. And now Miami can no longer stop the clock. 2:35 to go. This time it's a run to Benson. Those 2 yards are lost, but the more important thing is another 35 to 40 seconds coming off the clock as we're under 2 minutes to play. Man in motion, running to the outside, spins back to the middle, and Toafili is able to get positive yardage at least and doesn't lose too much. Rodemaker and company, they're going to go for it on 4th down. They're kind of in no man's land, see if they can end the game. And that throw was into no man's land, not a soul to be found in the grass that he hit there. So Miami takes over about the 38-yard line, minute 10 to go, no timeouts. It hits a very wide open Jaleel Skinner, and that's a good play by Gilbert Edmond, the defensive end, to make sure that Jaleel Skinner doesn't squirt away and find the end zone. This time, Van Dyke throwing to the corner, and finally throws one into too much traffic as Renardo Green makes a fantastic play over the top of the receiver and comes down with that interception. And that interception will seal it. Florida State is going to come away with this victory. Not only is it an SEC win, but another rivalry win, the first time these two teams have gotten to meet as SEC opponents. And you see that the rivalry means enough that in a game where Miami is a team that has sputtered this season, Florida State didn't care. There's a lot of emotion still involved with it, and winning this game was huge for them. When we go and look at the stats from the game, Jordan Travis had a pretty average game. He didn't get to have the quantity because of the injury, but still looked nice. Then the run game, everybody pretty much had the holes that you would expect and were able to take advantage of them. Toafili had a weird game, 7 for 17, but overall the run game was able to do what they wanted to when we were able to get the blocking. And then Keon Coleman was very nice in the quantity that he had. He stepped up and made some nice catches, and I'm liking what Hakeem Williams is giving us in the explosive part of the game. I know it's only one catch, but the catch that he did make was very nice, and he beat press coverage and was able to get deep and made a really nice play. And then defensively, I want to point out the tackles for losses we had today. We were very aggressive. I was sending a lot of linebackers and a lot of safeties and really shutting down that run game when I could. And that proved to be pretty fruitful as the Miami offense really didn't get going until they let Tyler Van Dyke throw the ball in the second half. So I think we got lucky from a play calling perspective, but it was nice to see a team that had the identity that, oh, we're going to run the ball a lot. So I don't know if that was a good choice, but Mario Cristobal continues to give some nice things to Florida State. Thanks for joining us on this game today. We're going to have a recap video showing up next. And then also be on the lookout. I'm starting my Madden 24 franchise on this channel, so you'll start seeing those videos come on onto the channel. Thanks again for showing up, and go Noles!